Chapter 542, Abnormal Situation. It's resolved, it's already resolved. Georgia suspected that the translator had made a mistake. Instinctively, she asked, "Is there a quick solution, or has it already been resolved?" Lugano cast a sympathetic glance at the beautiful Madame, experiencing the same emotions he felt when reading about how his employer had slain the demon warlock. How could a monster confined to the basement by ordinary armed bodyguards compare to Berman, who had a bounty of 600,000 Verl d'Or? Despite finding it unnecessary, Lugano respectfully conveyed Georgia's words to Lumion. Lumion removed the golden straw hat from his head and said, "You may instruct the servants to clean the basement." Upon hearing Lugano's translation, Georgia's pupils dilated as she looked at Lumion in bewilderment, unsure of what to say. At that moment, a bodyguard guarding the basement ran up. Upon seeing Georgia, he immediately leaned over, lowered his voice, and whispered something to her. Georgia's expression shifted a few times before she smiled and said to Lumion, as expected of the renowned adventurer, "I previously suspected that your hunt for the demon warlock was merely a rumor. Now, I completely believe it. Your might is enough to resound throughout the 5 seas." She paused for a moment and said apologetically, "I'm sorry, we haven't had time to prepare dinner. We might need you to wait in the lounge for a while." "Better to have me wait than a beautiful lady," Lumion replied with a smile. "That's basic courtesy." He followed Georgia's maid into the lounge, specially catered for Ludwig, to enjoy the pre-dinner dessert. Georgia and her bodyguard descended into the basement. A sense of relief washed over her as she surveyed the blood-stained room, finding no trace of the humanoid lizard. It had completely vanished. Dinner unfolded in a private chamber, exclusive to Lumion, his companions, and Georgia. The lady's maid attended to them, serving dishes and pouring wine. Lumion, intrigued by his surroundings, noted how the expansive mansion accommodated the needs of its diverse occupants. Small private rooms outside the grand banquet hall ensured the privacy of gatherings. The meal was a delight for everyone. Lumion received 15,000 risat in banknotes. Georgia appeared visibly at ease. Ludwig appreciated the villa's chefs, and Lugano experienced a high-end banquet for the first time. The great adventurer, usually one to boast and joke while not in his monster, hunting cold persona, lightened the atmosphere at the dining table. This pleasant ambience continued until Lumion departed from 21 St. Lana Street alongside Ludwig and Lugano. Lugano, slightly flushed from the white wine, gazed back at the brightly lit building and sighed deeply. "I wonder when I'll have a house this grand, with numerous servants and chefs and a wife like Georgia." Lumion teased, "Your emphasis is on the last part, isn't it?" Lugano chuckled sheepishly and replied, "Well, based on your description, I might as well have been capable of taking down that humanoid lizard too." It meant he possessed the skills to tackle a mission worth 30,000 Verl d'Or. With a few more successful missions, Lugano's dream could become a reality. With guns and special bullets prepared in advance, coupled with ample combat experience, a planter is indeed capable. Lumion carefully assessed his guide. He avoided using "doctor" to refer to Lugano, as this sequence primarily bestowed healing superpowers and didn't offer significant improvement in combat. Lugano was delighted to hear this, sensing a newfound hope in his life. Lumion glanced at him and added with a smile, "However, if you were to accept this commission, the reward might only be 2,000 to 3,000 risat. The rest accounts for the premium based on the great adventurer's reputation and the hush money for such a renowned figure. That's why you need to hunt down Demon Warlock before you can accept such a lucrative mission." The smile on Lugano's face gradually faded. "If I could hunt down Demon Warlock, my dream would be fulfilled. I wouldn't have to be an adventurer." Lumion paid no mind to the translator's emotional shifts. He glanced back at the large 5-story villa and said thoughtfully, "The matriarch of this family didn't appear even until the end." While it was understandable that the other family members hadn't shown themselves, logically speaking, as the head of the family, the matriarch should have at least expressed her gratitude to the adventurer who had helped them resolve the problem. "That's correct. A woman of Georgia's age shouldn't be the head of such a large family," Lugano acknowledged, sensing the anomaly. He refrained from bringing up the potential absence of a matriarch in the villa. In extended families like this, there were likely more than one older woman who had given birth. If one matriarch passed away, another would soon assume the role. Additionally, the Earth Mother Church was renowned for its adept treatment of illnesses in the northern and southern continents. The Faina Kingdom's average lifespan surpassed that of Lone, Intis, Fasak, and other nations. Plenty of individuals lived beyond the age of 70, especially with Georgia's family's wealth providing ample medical resources. Lumian averted his gaze and took a few steps. Go to the bar tonight and inquire about Georgia's family. As he spoke, he counted out 1,000 risat for Lugano. This covers your expenses for your activities during this period, including Ludwig's meal expenses when I'm out. Yes, boss. Lugano appreciated his employer's generosity the most. Near midnight, the doctor returned to the suite at Salo Motel, reeking of alcohol. He addressed Lumian, who was observing Ludwig eat supper. I got the info. Georgia is the wife of Rubio Paco, a shareholder of Port Santa's Fisheries Company and a committee member of the Fisheries Guild. The Paco family's matriarch is Rubio's mother, Martha. Committee member of the Fisheries Guild, Lumian instantly focused. This was a person knowledgeable about the complete process of the sea prayer ritual and the accident from last year. What else did you find out? Lumian asked casually. Lugano rambled on for a while before adding, by the way, Martha was once a maiden of the sea. Maiden of the Sea, Lumian pondered for a few seconds. She had been sought after by a specific crowd before marrying into the Paco family. He asked, did you find out anything about Martha's recent situation? No, Lugano shook his head. Lumian leaned back in his chair, as if preparing to doze off, not pressing for more information. The next day, he stayed at the Salo Motel, awaiting Valerio's preparations for his local identification documents. As evening approached, his messenger, Penitent Baneful, emerged from the void and handed him a letter. Lumian glanced at the charred corpse, still engulfed in viscous black flames, and casually asked, who sent it? Only 5 people were aware of his messenger's summoning incantation. A woman very close to death and darkness, Baneful replied. Lumian unfolded the letter and read the familiar handwriting. There's a gathering scheduled for 10 tonight. This was from Hela. Before leaving Trier, Lumian had specifically summoned Hela's messenger and informed her of his messenger's summoning method. With his frequent travel and changes in residence, it was impractical to summon Hela's messenger each time he stayed in a motel. Hence, he made such arrangements to convenience her in getting him. Each messenger was intricately bound to its master. Through the mystical connection of the contract, the messenger could track the contracted target regardless of their changing locations. The Research Society has another gathering. Lumian dismissed Baneful and moved to the window of the master bedroom. He peered into the distance, toward the mottled mountain range to the northeast. Under the afterglow of the setting sun, the mountains seemed to doze in the burning sky. Lumian silently observed for a moment, then retrieved the silver lie earring and placed it on his left earlobe. In an instant, his hair transformed, turning golden and elongating downward. At 10 p.m., in the ancient and dilapidated palace of the Nation of the Evernight, Lumian, cloaked in a black robe, hood, and a silver-white half, mask with a Muggle label, materialized. He immediately spotted Franca, who wore an assassin suit and had pulled down her hood. Franca, no longer concealing their amicable relationship, leaned in and lowered her voice. Port Santa didn't have a derangement outbreak, I suppose. I'm not the embodiment of calamity, Lumian replied. He then said to Franca, help me inquire in different teams later if there are any potions, charms, or items that can allow me to master a language in a short period of time, not true mastery, but the kind that allows mastery for a short period. Franca asked in confusion, don't you have a translator? Lumian smiled and said, it's just that I suddenly had an idea. When everyone thinks I don't know Highlander, I can understand what they're talking about. Perhaps it can bring about unexpected gains. Your scheming heart is truly stained. After Franca playfully cursed him, she wanted to praise Auror's beautiful lips and smile, one that ought to be seen more often, but her rationality made her give up on the idea to avoid triggering Lumion. She glanced at a corner of the palace and said, "The team most likely to obtain such items is actually the Academy. However, it's inconvenient for you to ask. It can easily arouse suspicion. Coincidentally, I'm heading to the Academy team today to inquire if anyone knows who the owners of the ancient tombs in Trier's catacombs are. Heh, many of them are considered semi-historians. If no one knows, I'll get 7 to delve into the church's confidential information." "Why do you ask?" Lumion raised his eyebrows. Franca recounted how she and Jenna had obtained a new mirror world fragment in the catacombs. Lumion listened attentively and scoffed. "Aren't you guys too bold? Jenna has been inspired by your courage." As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Seven approaching menacingly.